Hi everyone, so I just finished my first PTR session, streamed for like 10 hours, trying to demount Necro, season theme, all of it, and I'm gonna cover it all. So here's the Necro feedback, and I tried a new set a bit. I know that a lot of people are playing like other stuff like Contamination, Singularity Mages, and Corpse Explosion, and yeah, I like that there's like some more stuff, some variety and so on, but I really want to focus on the new set, and that is what I tested. So I like the design of the set. I think it's pretty cool to play, and I tried out some T16 setup with Teeth, and that works quite well. So you can kind of like play it like a multi-shot DH. You have these Simulacrums, and they shoot the Bone Spear when you do, and they also have like a big more damage multiplier, and they give you lots of damage reduction. So overall, the set seems like quite complete. It seems to work and synergize well, but there are still some issues. So here's some of the footage from T16, so you can just rush through one-shot stuff. This was done with like 11k main stat or so fairly low end. And yeah, I think it's going to be quite amazing to play. I'm not sure if it's going to be like auto lands or something, but it's definitely viable. You can just rush around really fast, and yeah, this is about it. You just spam everything. The setup was done without cold wrap even, so it's tanky enough to survive T16 easily. All good. I also tried it in solo. In solo, the issues become a bit more apparent when you're trying to push, and the thing is that it's kind of hard to control the Simulacrum sometimes. So they follow your directions. So when you have those two Simulacrums, they shoot where your cursor is at from their own direction. So when they're like standing far away, they might not shoot in exactly the same way that you want them to. And the best setup that you can do is most likely using Bone Spear or Shatter. I tried the other one where you just shoot through enemies with the poison rune, and it didn't really seem to work so well. So Shatter is like an AoE rune, and it explodes on the first enemy hit. And this has its own issues because if your Simulacrums are not in the right spot, the explosions will happen somewhere outside of the pool, and that can be quite a struggle. I think it would be good if the Simulacrums would follow you more closely, so when it's basically always right next to you, and you don't have to like hope that they're like in the right spot, because sometimes you might not have the time, or you might not even be able to go where you want to position them because monsters are blocking your way, and your blood rush is on cooldown or something. So it would be nice if they were kind of like an extension of your character, so to say, just kind of like shooting from your sides and not from like random directions. So that would help a bit. Otherwise, overall, I like how it plays. So it's not really based on cooldowns like most of the other Necromancer builds. You just take like a little resource maybe, but you don't even need that. So it's essentially just like stacking Bone Spear damage, crit, and so on, and toughness. So it's already quite tanky, but there's nothing really to take. So the pet multipliers don't work, Enforcer doesn't work, area damage doesn't work, and most of the damage is coming from your pets, and they don't proc area damage. So yeah, overall, yeah, the gearing is going to be very easy, and the playstyle is quite straightforward. But I don't like that you're kind of like lacking control. Sometimes your Simulacrums are in a really nice spot and they do tons of damage and melt elites, and other times they just don't do anything. So it's a little bit annoying. Other than that, I also dislike that when you proc, that seems to be like a little of a bug, I think. So when you proc Final Service, your Simulacrums also disappear at the same time. So that seems like it's just wrong. So what happens is that the Simulacrums get sacrificed to save you, but I think that should happen after Final Service. So like the first proc essentially is Final Service, the second one is Simulacrum, and after that you die. So I think this is the way how it should go. Right now just both disappear at the same time, your proc and your Simulacrums, and that is kind of weird. So I was just playing without Final Service in the end, and yeah, that was fine. But also when you're about to die, your Simulacrums get sacrificed, but through the sacrifice you also lose all your toughness, so you essentially just die one hit after that. And these kind of pointers, they have to like sacrifice saving you, like mechanic, and the Simulacrums give you I think 83% damage reduction. So like your damage reduction is damage taken is halved, and then also the damage you take is split between the Simulacrums as well. So yeah, it's tons of damage reduction, and when they're gone because you procced, you're basically dead anyway. Like one hit, like sometimes I get charged by like an oppressor or a bogan or something. My Simulacrums die, and before I hit the ground from this knock up, I'm dead anyway. This is what happened to me, And you know, also that it's like no really good indicator of when your Simulacrums die. So sometimes you might actually have the chance to survive by, you know, pressing Simulacrum again because the cooldown is ready, and you would get the damage reduction back and you would be saved. But yeah, you have to look very closely on your skill bar to actually see that the Simulacrums are gone. You know, they're not really noticeable in the heat of the battle. I mainly focus my attention on my convention timer and not so much on the skill bar. So there's like no buff that suddenly disappears. It's like, you know, just highlight it as your skill, and that's it. So yeah, it's yeah, you need to pay really close attention, and I think there could be, you know, some kind of like visual effect, or maybe, you know, something around the character that like pops up when the Simulacrums die. That would be nice. Otherwise, the biggest issue with the set that I have is that it's simply way too weak. So 4016, this is all fine and so on. You can just blast and you know, easy. But you know, every class can do that. Pretty much any build can do that. And for pushing, I did a 115, and there's like some other Necro clears going up to like 10 tiers higher. I was running like a fairly low-end Paragon setup. Like I was trying to make my character around like Paragon 2.5k. It was not really optimized. I didn't have physical damage on my amulet, for example, and stuff like this. But yeah, this was around the power level to expect. And if I play better, maybe I can squeeze out another 2 tiers or so. I used the skeletal mages as my kind of like extra ability, because, you know, not everything is required. I see a lot of people running Devour, which I feel is like really a waste. Resources is not an issue, and the cool thing is actually that Grim Scythe gives you resource when your Simulacrums hit something with Grim Scythe. So like this, you can, you know, easily apply curses with Cursed Scythe. You get easily back your resource, and you can just spam Bone Spear, you know, giving you half Scythe to cycle stacks from Bone Armor. So this is fine, but I actually tried another version first with the Golem. I wanted to make like pulls with the Golem, you know, kind of like stack stuff up a bit. But the problem is the Golem will just die without Enforcer. There's no way the Golem survives, and this is yeah, kind of meh. So I tried the Skeletal Mages, and I think that's actually a pretty good choice. I tried with Ancient Paladin first, and this is the clear. And then later I did like a short attempt with the new reworked Skeletal Mage shoulders that give you damage reduction. It's 50% damage reduction when you don't have full resource. And that actually works pretty well. So you can kind of like spam some mages, they give you attack speed, it's like a nice buff. You get the damage reduction, and then you do like 1 or 2 Grim Scythes, and you get back some resource. And like this, you can spam your Bone Spear. So I think that's actually going to be the setup, and this seems to work. It has like pretty good synergy. But yeah, overall the set is simply too weak. It's not going to go anywhere, and I was really hoping that this would replace, you know, like the other really cooldown heavy setups for Necromancer in solo at least. You know, it's fine if it's not really the best performing in groups and so on, because, you know, there's no area damage involved, and so, it's very hard to make a no area damage build work in Foreman, because yeah, that is, you know, one of the scenarios where you have tons of that usually, and then it's clear that, you know, a build that revolves around no area damage is probably not going to be the best. But we have Corpse Explosion anyway for that. We have maybe the Contamination Mages, so there are some options, and otherwise we have Demon Hunter maybe, and so on. So yeah, we'll see. There's also Witch Doctor still around. So for 4-man, we still have quite a few good options. And I don't think we need Bone Spear for that. It needs to be, you know, like a nice speed farming setup, a nice solo setup, and I think it does that well. It's just too weak. So I think that overall it's going to be fun for most people that will try it. Personally, I'm also not really a big Necromancer player, but for Season 21, I'm definitely going to jump into it because of the set. And yeah, it just needs some number tweaking. So, you know, if it gets lifted up by like maybe 10 tiers or so, that would, you know, kind of put it like close to the other Necromancer builds. But yeah, just overall, I guess Necromancer could see like another like little boost. So maybe make it 15 tiers, and then we're talking, you know, like a real balance. And otherwise, yeah, this is my feedback. I think the set feels overall complete, just like, you know, the stuff with the Simulacrum dying. Yeah, that's quite annoying, and also like a Simulacrum control needs to be a little bit upped, and otherwise it's good, I think. So that's it. Hope you like this video here. I'll see you guys next time.